Welcome to Train Masters Productions. For the 6th, 7th, and 8th train of Christmas, we will be reviewing these 86-foot boxcars. So, let's get rolling. Before we talk about Lionel's version of these cars, let's talk about a brief history of the real 86-foot boxcars. 86-foot boxcars are very big. They were 86 feet in length, and they carried car parts. That's why they're called auto parts boxcars. 60-foot boxcars are also auto parts carriers. Most 86-foot boxcars were built from the 60s to the 70s. Now we've talked about some history of the models. Let's talk about, the real version, the real thing. Let's talk about the model. These models, the CSX boxcar, and the C&O CSX boxcar were cataloged in the same catalog, 2018 Volume 2. Meanwhile, this car, Norfolk and Western, was cataloged in the 2021 Volume 2 catalog. By the way, what's a bleed through? A bleed through is when a railroad buys another railroad or merges with another railroad, painting every single thing completely is very expensive, it's very time consuming, and it's just not 100% necessary. So there's two things they'll do. One, not paint at all, or two, do a bleed through. Sometimes they'll paint over it. Sometimes they'll just paint over it, and even sometimes they'll stamp over it like that. This would have said C&O, but it says CSXT. So, it was a C&O boxcar, but now it's CSX. Pretty cool. I got these cars from different places. I got the CSX car from Train World, the C&O car from Edison Train Show, not sure what shop, and I got the Norfolk and Western car I got it for Easter. Okay, so now we've talked about models and the real thing, let's take a closer look. Here is the truck and some lettering and numbering. This says built February 1967. I really like when they put build dates on it. I think it's so cool. They also have some reflectors. Now, these reflectors do not actually reflect light, but it's nice how they painted them on. Here is the truck, and it's actually rotating bearing cap equipped, so when you turn the wheel, it rotates. Pretty cool. Here is some vertical posts, and apparently this was a Pullman car. There was another builder, something green, I'm not sure what it was, but they were on the inside, and there's another builder that had them horizontal. Pullman has the vertical posts on, they're on the outside too. Here are the doors, 2 doors. They don't open, but they're very nicely detailed. You can even see, there's a lock for turning the door. That's so cool. And more reflectors. Here's the other side of the car. By the way, the trucks are sprung, and there's a number, the lettering. This says, this car, excess height, no running board. Running board will be on top of the car so the crew could walk. You can even see a ladder, and it doesn't even go the full height of the car. Here's the side of the car. This says excess height, the running board. Here is the brake wheel and a coupler. Here's the top of the car, and it's really cool. It had that corrugated top. Feels so good rubbing it, and I don't know why, I just really like the top of corrugated cars. It feels so good to rub your hand on them. I don't know why, it just feels good. Okay, here is the build date and the front truck for the C&O car. You can see some more stuff. says built February 1967. Here's the doors. This says clean threshold before closing door. More reflectors. Here's bleed through truck. Jack here in the event I think of a derailment. The other ladder. Okay, here's the brake wheel and another coupler. Here is the N&W car. Now the build dates are different on this one. It says built July 1957. Here is some more lettering. Norfolk and Western. The doors. And the detail, like different things on this car are different. But it's pretty much similar. These trucks are sprung. This car, here's the other one. More paint. This is the Norfolk and Western hamburger logo because it looks kind of like a hamburger. The top of the N&W car. Top of the CSX C&O bleed through. Here is another brake wheel. Okay, so here's the underside of the car. And here's the two axles for this truck. And you can see this groove. And this is for the kinematic coupling. Now, I've seen this on my Amtrak Station Sounds Diner car, my Vision Line A-Class 1218, and my other 21-inch passenger cars. I've seen these on auto racks. Many big cars have these. And on a straight section of the track, you have it coupled up to, say, another car, and when it moves, when it goes on a curve, it extends. But it goes back to that prototypical distance, and same thing with the other one. Now, this is very important because of two things. One, if you had one, so it can take tighter turns. This car's minimum curve is 0.54. Now, that is very narrow for a car like this. This car has a lot of overhang over 0.72s. Imagine how much overhang it have on an 0.54. I don't have any 0.54s, but I'm imagining a lot. By the way, overhangs when the body hangs over the track. I'll show you what that is later. Here is some brake gear. So much stuff. You don't need. And here is the other side of the truck. Here is the ladder. CSX. Well, okay, so you see over here on the curve, you can see the body hanging over the curve, and that's overhang. I have some intermodal cars made by MTH. I have some cars, and I've ran a car. It's not mine, but I've ran it on 0.72s. I mean 0.36s, and it has an overhang. They're Premier MTH. It's a BN intermodal car, Burlington Northern. It's really nice. It's not mine though, but I have a lot of intermodal cars, and they would probably have very big overhangs on a 0.72, and this car has an overhang too. By the way, I really, really like these cars, but there's just one thing, actually two major things with these cars that I have a little trouble with. One is the coupler. It's not a big deal. Actually, not trouble. That's overboard. But I would really hope that they would maybe put a more reliable coupling system on these cars, because the coupling system's good, but I was coupling some cars for the video, and sometimes the thumbtacks just don't align very well. And thumbtack couplers is just a system of couplers this car uses, but I understand that you can't really fit a hidden uncoupling tab with that. I understand, but I know if they have to do thumbtacks, then I'll do thumbtacks, but please make a more reliable system. If if you're working for Lionel, or if you are Lionel, please put more reliable coupling system. Also, these cars are very, very light. They're one of my lightest box cars. And I have plenty of very small semi-scale stuff, and it's actually lighter than some of my semi-scale box cars. I would suggest maybe weighting these cars. If you work, no offense, but if you work for Lionel or are Lionel, please add some weights in these cars. But I really like these cars. I really hope Lionel makes more. If they do, I would really hope to get more, because I want more of these cars, but they're huge. They're really nice, though. So that's the end of the review on the Model Train Master, and I'll see you next time.